Alright guys, what's up? My name's Josh and we're here for the first ever podcast. I'm here joined with Adam. Adam, welcome to the podcast.
Thank you. It's it's a pleasure to be on.
Yeah, I mean, it's finally good to get it to get up and running. We've got a name for it. It's just going to simply be known as the Chinwag. How do you think about that?
Yeah, I think it's a good name. It's very short and to the point, isn't
Yeah,
it?
it's just a Chinwag, isn't it? So today, we're going to talk a little bit about something that's quite interesting to me. I don't know about you, but like famous conspiracy theorists.
Yeah, no, definitely. There's definitely a few anyway that they really interest me. I think everyone's a little bit interested in conspiracy theories. Let's be honest.
There's so many there that you can just talk. Literally, you can talk for hours about them. There's so many different areas that you could go into. I've got a few up on the screen that we can start talking about. The big one I'd say is probably 9/11.
Okay.
What? Well, because people sort of think that it's the inside job, the Americans, Bush did it, and all that sort of thing. Like, as I'm aware, a plane crashing into a building, even though the rate it crashed into it, flew into it, and blew it up, whatever, it's not enough to make a tower collapse like it did, and how it looked like a controlled explosion, people say.
Yeah, I was actually looking into this a while back.
Yeah.
It kind of shows how as the plane hits the building the building doesn't sort of topple.
Yeah.
It falls from the bottom downwards, almost like as if an explosion's gone off at the bottom of the building.
Yeah, exactly.
And it's all collapsed onto it.
But it's not even as it hits, it's a little bit after, so it's been stuck in there, the plane. And then for some reason it collapses. It's just a bit weird. Obviously, there's people who say, they're joking about it. They're saying Bush did 9/11.
Well, I mean, do you think there's an element of truth to it?
I think it's in a way, because the fact is it flew into the building, and it didn't collapse straight away or didn't blow up straight away. It blew up a little bit, and there was a lot of flames and that and debris flying out then. But it didn't collapse the tower there and then, and I think afterwards it collapsed, and I thought that doesn't really add up for me.
Yeah, no, I see. I think there is an element of truth in it. However, I feel because it's been kind of sort of known as you said a joke, by it's so widespread 9/11 was an inside job as as a joke. It makes. I feel that makes people feel stupid for actually believing in it.
Yeah, I know. Obviously, there's always going to be those sort of meme things where people are oh yeah, it's Bush did 9/11 and hardy are, and that, and they're not going to take it seriously. But there's been a fair few I don't know if it's been on CNN, but documentaries in the news that have sort of tried to debunk them a little bit, but they've not really. I don't know. I've watched a few on YouTube, and it's if I was watching that when it first was broadcast, it would have been, massive front page news. But I feel like people haven't really, they sort of pass it to the side a little bit. I don't know. Because it's sort of the biggest terrorism tragedy in the US by far. So people just say it's terror, and that's the end of it because it's un-American, maybe, to sort of question it otherwise.
I mean, it's always going to be a difficult one. I think all conspiracy theories, it goes with a lot of them. It's just a matter of opinion. Both sides of the story seem to have fairly good evidence, especially in the 9/11 attack. Personally, I think it's hard for me to say I genuinely believe that it was an inside job, because I don't think I do. But there's just, like you said, some the few little tweaks that you kind of think,
there's a lot of reasons. It doesn't
quite look right.
Yeah, you look at why it happened. Obviously, when it did happen, it sparked off the invasion of Iraq. You could maybe look at it and go, maybe Bush needed something to sort of scaremonger the people of America into thinking, shit, we need to do something right now. Yeah. Because if it hadn't have happened and life went on, would they have like been would the American people have backed the invasion of Iraq? I don't think so, as much.
Yeah, no, that's actually a very fair point to make. Like, was that? Have you seen that?
Well, you just think maybe that if it didn't happen, there wasn't an attack at home, so there's no reason to be scared. Whereas when that happened,
it gives them a reason
like,
to then.
Yeah, we've got to do something, and it sort of gets the American people thinking like that could have been me. So yeah, Bush, I'd vote for to do something. So because if he'd have just like invaded Iraq without anything had happened, some people would have been against it more so than they probably were when it actually did happen. But obviously, like looking back now, it's such a can of worms to go into Iraq when they did. But there's I don't know. I just feel like the 9/11 thing sort of set a precedent for all of terror, like up to now. I don't know. Do you?
I agree. However, there was after 9/11 there was still like a like an empty gap. There was a gap. Like if you think about it, like, there was still obviously terror attacks going on, but it was only recently in 2016, 2017, 2016, surely.
Well, there was the ones in London, the bombings of the bus and the shoot. That was the other big one in 2007.
But of the most recent ones, these terror attacks.
Yeah.
I think it started at the England-France game. Like, was that like the first one of a string?
Oh, you mean where in France, in Paris?
Yeah.
That was in modern history. That was
that was like the first. Yeah, that was like the first of then. Along with that was 2016. Because then you had a few in France
with obviously the truck going through the people, which was horrible. But that was sort of the start of going through the clubs. I think it was, or was it like a show? People went in with the guns.
There was a show in France. Some people went in and literally gunned people down.
Yeah, because it was near the French stadium, near the Stade de France, I think.
Yeah, there was. I know a few survivors. Like people did survive, in there. They spoke to the press and they were saying they literally had to hide underneath their friends' dead bodies, in their blood and stuff to make themselves look dead. And it makes you think how heartless can you really be to just go and do something like that. I know I get I don't really want to break into religion for obvious reasons, but
it's one of them minutes where is that really the best thing to do?
Yeah.
Is that going to achieve your happiness? And obviously to them the answer is yes, so that's their way to, go to whatever it is, whatever they believe it to be.
Get their 40 virgins.
Yeah.
No disrespect. It's just not for me.
I think religion's a big.
It's a very touchy subject. It's what.
Yeah, but a lot of the time, all the problems come from religion and
I completely agree. I'm not putting any blame on one religion in particular. I think every religion is bad.
Religion in general, I think it just creates segregation.
It causes wars, and that's about all it does.
Yeah.
It causes a divide in humanity. That's personally why I'm a non-believer. I kind of think what makes your religion right and everybody else is wrong. Why is your God real but you think everyone else's God is a bunch of baloney?
And there's so many different variations on the same thing as well.
Yeah.
It just makes you think wait, yours is a little bit different to the other one, which is a little bit different again.
Yeah.
Which is the right one? So it makes it sort of makes because obviously you've got Judaism and the Church of England and Catholicism. There's all different versions of the same thing.
Just
it's sort of for me that nullifies it a little bit.
Yeah. Like I was saying, they just because how is your God real, or your interpretation of this thing real, and everybody else's is to be quite frank, a load of shit.
Yeah.
Like how can you believe that? And obviously, like we've just previously mentioned, it isn't good for anything. All it does is cause a divide, like a segregation.
Yeah. It does interest me though. I think that what would be a good idea is to maybe in future episodes bring in people who have an understanding, more of an understanding than we do of different religions maybe, and maybe talking to someone that is from a direct religion and just getting to the bottom of to sort of respect it a bit more and understand it a bit more, because there's quite like an extensive, like when you look at religions and what not to do, what to do, it's so complicated really.
Yeah, especially in the the kind of more foreign religions to us. If we were,
so like Buddhism.
Yeah,
Hinduism.
like there's so many. In some strict, in some just a bit weird. Like just these certain rules that they have to follow. Like and like abide by. And I'm gonna be the first to say I paid no attention in RE. I have no idea why they have to do that or anything like that. I think it'd be really interesting from like our point of view to
get a different perspective.
And for somebody to explain, I do this and this is why I do it. Kind of thing.
And obviously when we're talking, we've gone from 9/11 to this. People might be thinking, we're sort of making a direct assumption that it was done by
certain beliefs,
Muslims, and we're sort of saying like terror, but it's not like that. There's extreme people in every religion, and I think what would be really interesting was to get the idea. It would be really dangerous, but to get someone on a podcast who's like radical and extreme, like it would be really, really like a bad idea, because giving them an open mic to just say what they're. But obviously, it wouldn't be used for them to preach. It'd be used to sort of get an idea to why they think they have to be so extreme. It just interests me. It's obviously like it's standing on eggshells.
Yeah, too right.
Yeah.
Especially when we've just started this thing.
Yeah, I know. It's the first one. I'm just throwing out these big ideas, but it's.
Yeah, no.
You have to stand on eggshells sometimes to get the answers. It's journalism.
Controversy creates cash. Yeah, that's the one.
So I don't know, maybe, but definitely people who, religious.
I mean, extremists have spoken publicly before. Whether it's like the BBC or to other journalists.
I mean, people like Tommy Robinson, he's an extremist in a sense.
Yeah, it'd be quite good to get him on. If it was ever possible.
Well, you never know, do you? Might happen. This is the first episode. We're aiming big at the minute, though.
Oh, too right, yeah, but what's the point in aiming small, eh?
Exactly. Aim for the stars, reach for the stars. So we've spoken about the 9/11 attack. For you, is it an inside job or not? We need a definitive answer.
Jesus.
To round off.
Okay, I'm going to say no.
Okay. I believe that it could be, and I'm going to say that I think it is.
Oh, I think it could be, but if I had to say yes or no, I think I'd go no.
Right. Cool, yeah. Cool. Okay, so here's one that's it's a bit of a weird one. This. But
okay.
Barack Obama,
right,
obviously the last president of the United States, and in many views of many people, one of the best in recent times.
Mm-hmm.
Apparently, he wasn't born in America, and therefore, obviously, when you're not born in America, you're not American. So he shouldn't have been the president. There's something about here saying that he's not. He's not. He wasn't born in America, so therefore he shouldn't be president of America, or shouldn't have been.
So where was he allegedly born?
Well, I don't know. Like, I'm trying to just read stuff here off the course. Like, it's I don't know. It's saying that obviously because I think he's got some Irish in him, hasn't he?
I mean, I think everyone's got a bit of Irish.
Yeah, that's true. Yeah.
No, I think what's interesting about just that statement alone, though, for me anyway, is I think despite, let's say he wasn't born in America, like why does that mean that he can't be the president of America? Like why? Like he could have moved to America, let's say when he was 5 years old. So why at the age of, when did he start his presidency? Was he like 44?
Yeah, middle age,
something like that. Yeah,
40 something.
So let's say you move to America at a young age. Why can he then not go through the process to become the president if he's been there for so long? Like, what difference does it make? Like his interests, like he still has America's best interests at heart.
Yeah. So here I've got a little article up saying that it's come from Donald Trump. So there's a surprise in itself.
Right.
Donald Trump.
Okay.
He's reportedly continued to promote the conspiracy theory that Barack Obama was not born in America, despite that, you know, he vowed that he was born in America. So something here it says about him being born. His birth certificate verified that he was born in Honolulu, Hawaii, which is obviously American states. That's fine, but President Trump, he's not having any of it. I think he still thinks that he wasn't.
This is the same Trump that still thinks Obama's spying on him from inside the White House. And
well, yeah, I know.
Like the guy's nuts.
But he to say he is nuts. Obviously, his Twitter doesn't do him any favours whatsoever. But
if you want to see some of his tweets, check out my second to last video. Just a little plug there.
Always plugging. There must be a reason why he got in.
Because he probably would have done a similar, if not better, job than Hillary. I think Hillary's just as bad. Yeah,
but why was there no one else that had come to the forefront of the campaign? Why of all people, Hillary, what's her name?
Hillary Clinton.
Hillary Clinton, that's the one.
I nearly said Hillary Duff.
Yeah, I know, I was thinking Hillary Duff. Hillary Clinton and Donald Trump, why were those two at the forefront? Because in many eyes, they were probably the worst two people to sort of go forward into the presidency.
That I don't think I feel like I don't follow politics enough to be able to answer. But
no, I
from what I know about both Trump and Clinton, felt weird calling her Clinton. Yeah. From what I know about both of those characters, neither of them should have been elected. Like, I think they're both as bad as each other. I think if I really had to go with one, I probably would have chosen Trump, to be honest.
Yeah. I think because there's a lot of stories that came out about it being Hillary Clinton being quite backward, taking a lot of
and had ties with the mafia.
Really?
Yeah. She, oh God, what was it? She owed a lot of money to the mafia.
Yeah.
And she stole because she'd been doing something dodgy with them. I don't know what.
Right.
I didn't read up about it enough, but she owed a lot of money to the mafia, and she allegedly stole that money from either a certain charity or charities to basically pay back the mafia. That was one whether that was true or not, I don't know, but that was a big story.
Wow.
So
that's the first I've heard of that.
Yeah, that was one of the things where I was people are calling Trump bad.
Yeah. No, it's true. I think it was at the time a lesser of two evils.
Yeah.
Because, again, she's so there were so many stories. I've so many stories that I don't even know all of them.
Yeah.
Because she's with the mafia. She's in with Coca-Cola was one, I think.
I don't know.
Really big companies that she was sorting out deals for if she became president.
Yeah.
But it's too backwards for me. There's so many it's so sketchy, isn't it? Politics, just on in general,
yeah, because they're all just bullshit.
Yeah, it's all bullshit and just they don't even speak the truth. They speak what they think people want to hear.
I'll talk shit for a bit until you elect me, and then I'll do what I actually want to do.
Yeah. Oh man.
And you can't do anything about it for 4 years.
Yeah.
Like that's
Sometimes
literally what it
more
is.
as well.
Yeah.
It's crazy. So I think that's a bit of a rubbish one about Barack Obama not being born on American soil. I think the White House released his birth certificate.
Yeah.
I mean, yeah, they could fake it, but does it matter really? I don't think.
No,
it
of
does.
course he did a good job, and
Yeah.
like that's all. Like
Yeah.
you can't fault somebody once they've already done a good job.
Yeah, exactly. So next one we're gonna get. This is a really interesting one for me. This the Bermuda Triangle.
Yeah, but I was hoping I was hoping you bring up that one or Area 51.
Yeah. Well, I brought we've got Bermuda Triangle, and like it's just weird. It's such a weird thing that this area, this triangle area, it's on the coast of.
It's like South America. Yeah, it's like Bermuda's like. It's like Bermuda's like down here, and then it's like
Puerto
South.
Rico as well.
Yeah. It's like South America part of it as well, like somewhere in South
it's
America.
like sort of.
Yeah.
So it's below Florida, so it's just as South America
it.
starts.
Yeah.
Yeah, and there's just so many things that have just gone in there and not come out, and it's just weird.
I was actually like, I'm that obsessed with this. I've seen like hour-long YouTube videos about this, and some of like especially like the aircrafts and like so. I don't know if I'm getting this exactly right, so don't like, but there was either an aircraft or like a large boat or something. I think it was an aircraft that had like 100+ people on it, and that again vanished within this radius. People obviously couldn't find it. I think they sent another 2 planes or 2 boats. I think it might have been 2 boats they sent to try and find the wreckage. Both of them boats also disappeared without a trace. Like, and nobody, like, I just don't understand it. People, there's obviously conspiracies about it being like a wormhole to like a new dimension, that if you're like sort of travelling at the right speed in the right area, like you get sucked into it.
Yeah.
I think it's hard for me to believe that.
Yeah, but also, like, there must be something, don't you get on to say they're disappearing.
Yeah, like nothing that's. I think I'm right in saying this. Nothing that has disappeared within that radius has ever then been discovered. Like it's everything has just vanished without a trace. And I think was it some scientists were saying, like, I'm not very good with science at all, so but some scientists were saying it was something to do with like the depth of the ocean, and that some sort of like I don't know, like some sort of wave or something that's like, I don't know, like I'm not very good with science, but like something was basically happening to basically like ripple these boats up so much, or these planes, and like sort of drag them into the sea, tear them up like that much that there's nothing left of them, and kind of little parts of them get sort of dragged off to the coast elsewhere, but like they're that small that they're just unfindable, or like they get dragged like to like so far deep into the ocean that they can't be found.
Well,
it was something like that.
Like theories here for why things are going missing, and one of them
might be one of them.
Magnetic variation. It's called.
Yeah, that was it.
And it's like it's so saying that it's the area's unique sort of environmental features. Why it's also called the Devil's Triangle, which I didn't know that.
Yeah.
But there's a reason why the Bermuda Triangle takes so many boats and planes. That it's just like one of the 2 places on Earth that magnetic compass does point towards true north. Now, I'm not really, high up on magnetic power and all that. Like, it's science. I'm not a science guy like yourself, but. So that sounded like I made you out to be a science guy then. We're both not science people at all. We know nothing about science really. But
I did terrible in science.
Yeah, me too. That was awful. So
I think that was like my worst thing in school, like in like grade wise.
Yeah, I know. I think it was the same. Honestly, yeah. Like it's, but we're not talking about these things. So fine. There's obviously the space-time warp, like you mentioned. Yeah. That's why there's no trace of the crafts or all even wreckage. There's also something called electronic fog, which is, being one of the reasons why it's for the unexplained incidents.
Okay.
I don't really understand this. I'm going to have a little bit of a read here. So this guy called Bruce Gernon, he's actually a first-hand witness and a survivor. So he survived being in the Bermuda Triangle.
Right.
So December 4th, 1970, he and his dad were flying their aircraft over the Bahamas. They encountered strange cloud phenomena, a tunnel-shaped vortex. This was the cloud. The sides of which the plane's wings scraped as they flew. So they were flying through this cloud, and as they were flying through, something in the cloud was scraping their wings. So it's actually because obviously when you fly through a cloud, it's just precipitation and rain, isn't it? But that was actually static power, electronic power that was scraping the wing.
Is there any way you can prove that, or is it kind of just taking his word for it?
Well, I'll go further. He says, as they neared the end of the tunnel, they expect to see clear blue sky. Instead, they saw only a dull greyish white for miles, no ocean, sky, or horizon. So after they were flying for 34 minutes,
right,
and they then just found themselves over Miami Beach, just like that. Apparently, the crazy thing here is that it was after 34 minutes that they found themselves, because it was the clock that was on board and calculated that 34 minutes, and they were over Miami Beach, which should have taken 75 minutes to get there from where they were originally. So in a way, this electronic fog business has carried them to a place that takes, in half
about 40 minutes earlier.
Yeah. Which is incredible.
And then get me some electric fog.
Yeah. Which, oh man. So another excuse for it, UFOs, which is another conspiracy theory.
Yeah, it's all in itself, that, isn't it? I mean, why that one spot? If there are sort of I don't want to delve too deeply into it. I obviously believe in life on other planets. I think, despite obviously it being a completely personal opinion, I think if you don't believe in life on other planets, you're stupid. How can there be all of that?
Not stupid, they're just naive.
Yeah, stupid. People are gonna hate me for that.
No. I mean, I get what you mean, because you're stupid to say that there's just us.
Yeah, I think there's definitely something out there that knows about us,
which is just crazy. That messes with my head.
But I feel like they may. I don't think they'll have made contact just like we haven't with anything else, if you get me.
Have we not with anything else because we don't have the equipment to do that? So we can only go to the moon and land. We are potentially going to Mars. But until that actually does happen, we haven't been to Mars. We've only been to the moon. I think that's the only place we've actually walked on.
So let's say that I don't like saying aliens, but I'll call them aliens just for the purpose of the podcast.
Yeah.
So let's say these aliens are a bit more advanced than us, and they've managed to come to the Earth. Why choose that one segment of the ocean to take people?
It's not even a massive area as well. It's weird. So that's So that makes me think maybe it's not UFOs because it's a really small area.
Why
would they do that?
I do not believe in the UFO theory. I think it's that.
Unless, right, here's a good theory.
Okay.
So they are powering off the crafts, so the boats and the planes. They collect them, maybe use them to get home, like build them to make some like absolute specimen of a ship or something, and then that's how they get home.
But
I'm spitballing.
But are they already? Like, are they not already in ships? They're like, where are these?
Crashed.
But what, in the ocean?
Yeah, and they've lost their ship.
And they're they're sucking under massive boats and planes.
Well, I don't know. I'm just going with something here, but it literally, we.
And why do they always seem to crash in this one little triangle?
Well, no, maybe they crashed in the triangle and they can't go anywhere else, so they're just taking stuff. Because recently, I haven't heard anything about crashes in.
No, there was something not that long ago.
Really?
I'm sure. Like, can I have
a quick
look? I'm sure.
We're actually going to go to a break because it's gone over the halfway or half hour mark. We're going to try and get this to an hour podcast. So, me and I'm just going to go take a quick break and we'll be back shortly. Welcome back for the second part of the Chinwag. First ever Chinwag, joined by Adam. We've also now joined by some booze. Thank you very much for providing, Adam.
Yeah, no worries. Probably won't drink it on my own anyway.
Yeah, well, thank you very much. This will go down a treat. So, we were on the Bermuda Triangle, but I feel like we should maybe move it on a little bit.
I did.
Oh, yeah.
Obviously, did you just want to mention I found the two recent.
Oh yeah, of course. Yeah. During the break.
So there was two in 2015.
Right.
The first one is late July in 2015. There was two 14-year-old boys, Austin Stephanos and Perry Cohen. They were on a fishing trip in a 19-foot boat.
Right.
They both disappeared on their way from Florida to the Bahamas. Yeah, that's where they were going.
They were going to the Bahamas?
They were like travelling towards the Bahamas, right, like on a fishing trip from Florida.
Yep.
There was obviously the 15 square mile, a wide search by the US Coast Guards. The boys were never found.
Jesus.
Nor was the boat.
Oh my God.
Until a year later, the boat was found off the coast of Bermuda, but the boys were never seen again. So in 2016...
What, the boat was like found?
In 2016, the boat was found on the coast of Bermuda. That's what it says.
What?
And the boys were never seen again. And also in 2015, SSL Faro, I'm guessing that's the name of a boat, sank off of the coast of the Bahamas within the triangle on October the 1st, 2015. Search crews identified the vessel 15,000 feet below the surface, but no crew members.
Wow.
So where are the bodies? Like, if you find this ship like sunken at the bottom, surely there's bodies. Like...
Yeah, but that's not even as bad as the first one. Like, you find the boat, it's perfectly fine, but there's just no one on it. That's so dodgy about that.
Them lads are literally like never seen again.
Yeah. I mean,
but like a year, like it's only found a year later. Like, how did no one find it before?
But like where's it been?
Because obviously, like you were saying, the area's not that big.
Yeah, you say 15 miles, was it?
Yeah.
Or something like that.
How has it only just managed to get itself to the shore of Bermuda in a year?
Yeah. Especially obviously no one must be on it if those two kids they might have gone overboard or Could have been pirates, maybe.
And obviously, if the boat was completely fine, like
could have been pirates, could it? Like I know that usually happens in like Somalia.
Yeah, I was going to sort of not between like Florida and.
Yeah, maybe not there, but you never know, do you? Like, it could have just been.
Really like unfortunate.
Yeah. What I don't understand is there's two 14-year-olds, right, on a boat on a fishing trip.
Fishing trip, yeah.
So there's no one else or something.
That's all it says. Like two 14-year-old boys, Austin Stephanos and Perry Cohen, went on a fishing trip in their 19-foot boat. The boys disappeared on their way from Jupiter, Florida, to the Bahamas. Despite the 15,000 square mile wide search by the US Coast Guard, the pair's boat was found a year later on the coast of Bermuda, but the boys were never seen again.
So really, I mean, why 2 40-year-old kids going out on a boat alone? That shouldn't have happened. Sure.
Obviously not. No.
Like that's the first thing that I'm thinking. Why is that happening? But secondly, it's crazy that they just vanished and the boat's fine.
Yeah.
Because you can understand if the boat's crashed
or
wrecked. Wrecked, yeah. Like you can understand them being dead or not. You can't find them. You can't find a body. But I don't know. It's a bit dodgy that for me. But yeah, we'll move on from Bermuda because it's messing with my head a little bit. We're going to go to another popular one about how Adolf Hitler did not commit suicide in his bunker and allegedly escaped.
He's living in the Caribbean somewhere.
Escaped to Argentina is the story, because there's been pictures of a person in Argentina that is a spitting image of the leader of the Nazi Party, or ex-leader. I mean, it could still be the leader. I doubt he's still alive now. Even if he has been living in Argentina all these years. But what do you think? Could Adolf Hitler have escaped and maybe planted a body in there when he committed suicide in that bunker?
It's difficult for me. I think he was a coward.
Right.
But then you look on that as, was he a coward so he took his own life? Or was he a coward, i.e. he was too scared to take his own life and tried to escape, or succeeded in escaping? I think he never, obviously despite him being the sort of, I guess not even the mastermind, just like the controller of kind of everything that happened, he never actually did anything himself. Like, he was never the one to shoot anybody or to bomb anybody or to gas anybody. He just gave the orders. Like, he was always kind of protected in a way.
Yeah. And
I feel like that, that kind of makes him a coward. I mean, that's just my personal point of view. Like, I don't.
Yeah, I mean, but on the flip side, there has to be someone that sort of is the leader and makes the decisions. Even though they aren't pulling the trigger themselves, they're pulling the trigger metaphorically. Because you have to have, otherwise it'll just be anarchy.
It's there's a big difference. Like, I could quite easily say, I want you to go and kill so and so and mean it. But then it's different if I said, I want you to go kill this person. You say, why didn't you do it? I then stand there with the gun and pull the trigger. Like, it's, do you know what I mean? Like, it's a lot easier for you to say, go and kill someone. Than for you to actually be stood there with the gun, like.
Yeah. Well, this conspiracy theory says that a number of U-boats took certain Nazis with all their loot that they'd stolen from different countries to Argentina, because the Nazis were supported there by one of the future presidents, Juan Perón. Apparently they'd been receiving money from the Nazis for some time, and allegedly Hitler moved with his... It wasn't his wife, was it? Or did they get married in the end?
No, it was his wife that he was in the bunker, like allegedly in the
Yeah,
bunker with.
that blonde woman.
Yeah.
Braun.
I can't remember now. She was his wife at the time.
Yeah. So they apparently allegedly moved to Argentina and lived until his death in February 1962. Eva Braun, that's the woman. Apparently, Eva Braun left Hitler in around 1954 with a daughter, and then Hitler died in 1962 apparently. But a historian, Guy Walters, has rubbished these claims, saying that they actually did die in the last days of World War II, saying that people who are talking about these kind of theories are stupid. It's impossible to believe that so many people could keep such a grand scale deception so quiet. So obviously there's a lot of people. I think it's more pointed towards that he did die in the bunker in World War II, and there's only a few people like who are sensationalising that he moved to Argentina and lived till the rest of his life.
I think it's crazy, like, to know with this one, you're never really gonna know, are you?
Yeah,
like
absolutely not.
We now can't, like, there's surely no way now to prove what actually happened. Like, I think with the other things we spoke about, like with 9/11, like if it was an inside job, there'll be confidential files somewhere that could potentially at some point in the future be leaked. Do
you think they'd still have them though, realistically?
I think they'd probably always keep a backup somewhere. Like there'll be something somewhere.
Yeah.
And the Bermuda Triangle, like I feel like if there was anything sort of dodgy going on with that, like eventually I feel like it would be found out because it's still an ongoing thing. Whereas this, I feel like we're just never going to know. And it's fascinating, isn't it? Like, I mean, what's your take on it? What do you think he killed himself?
I think something a little bit different in that it's a bit of an out there suggestion, but that Hitler wasn't actually, or originally was a person, but I reckon he died sometime, before maybe the World War II, or maybe just at World War II, and he's been sort of adopted as a like an iconic figure who's been played by different people that look the same as Hitler and look similar to him, but aren't actually Hitler. Like Robin Hood and John Ball and the American person who everyone looks up to, Uncle Sam. Everyone looks up to them as their idol of the country, and I feel like that's what Hitler was. He was like an idol for the Nazi supporters, for the German people.
Okay.
I feel like maybe he not. See, he might not have died, but he might not have been a person as well. It might have been like an idea.
This sounds it sounds a bit like have you ever heard of the Avril Lavigne conspiracy?
I've heard about something about it, but not too much.
So basically that was so when she was doing, she was kind of in a prime.
Yeah. She
didn't like to go on stage, she didn't like to do interviews herself or anything like that.
Right.
So what her people did, they hired a stunt double to do her interviews.
Right.
And to speak to press and things like that for her. And people believed that she died. Her stunt double then just straight up took over her life and everything she was doing.
Whoa.
And the Avril Lavigne that is around isn't actually Avril Lavigne. Avril Lavigne, she died a while ago. And this the stunt double that was doing these things for her is now literally just living her life. And it's
That's
a big
crazy.
cover up. I don't believe it.
Surely.
I don't believe it, but it just when you were speaking about the Hitler thing, it just came to mind.
Yeah, I think it's more plausible that Hitler's. Obviously now, you can probably there's a load of tests you can do, but no, I just think that he could be some idea that people look up to, you know, like put the picture of him.
Yeah, no,
and be
like
that's
almost a bit like a god.
Yeah, but no one's actually seen him up close in person, and if people have seen him, he's looked different because there's photos that paint him, or I don't know if they're paintings or photos or whatever, but they look different. There's some photos of Hitler that look different every time. Like there's one where he has a moustache, one where he has a maybe a different kind of moustache, and I don't know. It's real. I think it's a plausible theory.
I think it's definitely interesting. I think personally, if I had to go with one conclusion, I think I believe that he died in the bunker.
And killed himself.
Yeah.
Yeah. Obviously, it's the most plausible.
Yeah, I think I'm just trying to look at it logically.
Yeah.
Like I love sort of being a believer in the what if.
Yeah.
Like I think it's like, don't get me wrong. Obviously, like I would have wanted him to die, but like I find it almost like a bit exciting. Like if he did live.
Well, how cool would it have been if we could speak to him on a podcast?
Adolf. Nah, I'd got him.
Yeah, obviously, like in theory, like how cool would it be to pick the brain of someone who thought that it was right to persecute a religion?
Yeah, no, I do.
It goes back to the sort of.
I think I could do it, but I'd have an urge to just attack him.
Oh yeah, well, I know. I'd join you there. I'd definitely. It's not like I'd just sit back and be like, "Yeah, Hitler, we're all right, mate." No, I'd like, but it's just so interesting.
Yeah.
It's like the same with a load of different people in life. Like, just why? Why have you done what you've done? Why do you believe it's right?
I feel like it'd make me. I'd become like a very aggressive interviewer with somebody like that. I think. Have you ever seen that TV show with Piers Morgan where he like speaks to like people on death row? Or not, maybe not on death row, but like people that are in prison for like bad things.
Right.
Like, well, obviously bad things, but like like really bad things.
Yeah.
And he kind of it was just like a late show that he did. It's like I don't think it's on anymore, but he basically spoke to these inmates and kind of like interviewed them, so that people could obviously get their perspective on why they did what they did.
Right.
And there was this one guy who was denying, like, I can't remember what it was, something about like killing his own family or something, or like it was just something ridiculous, and he was like denying it, but there was so much evidence like piling against him, and he had literally nothing, like it was certain he was guilty.
Right.
And he was basically like, you know, sort of like chatting shit to Piers Morgan, like being a bit rude in a sense. And then you saw the switch, and like Piers Morgan like fully like went in on him, like basically like told the series of events of what like allegedly happened, and he was like, and you did kill them, didn't you? And like he like looked him like dead in the face, and like the guy was like, shit, like it was so like, I don't know, Piers Morgan, he snapped and he just turned so like aggressive and really went in. And I feel like that's what I'd be like in that situation. You know, once I'd asked a few questions, like we mentioned earlier about the possibility of having like an extremist.
Yeah.
I feel like if they answered questions in a way I didn't agree with, like, you know, if they were very like happy to be like, yeah, like I'd want to blow shit up, for example, like that'd infuriate me inside, and I'd be like, but like why? Like, and I'd probably say it in quite like an aggressive tone. Yeah.
I know what you mean, because it's a frustrating like lining of questioning like topic, but I don't know, like it's just
I feel like I'm again coming off track.
Yeah.
It's an but I mean, it's always good to come off sort of tail off the original story a bit, because I mean, there's so many different things that like link.
Yeah, there's different ways of looking at things. So, I mean, largely thinking that Adolf Hitler that he moved to Argentina is a load of shit. Yeah. But I don't know. I'm thinking maybe that he is like a god. People look up to him, and he's not actually a real person in that sense. So I think that's plausible.
Yeah, I mean, I think it's, but personally, I don't believe it.
Yeah.
I think he did in fact kill himself, but I agree. I think it's very plausible. I also think it is plausible that he escaped and moved to Argentina or wherever he allegedly moved to.
I feel like someone in that position could have that capability to escape and live a normal life.
I feel like how he escaped. Obviously, I don't know. I don't know if there's any details on how he would have.
It doesn't say how he escaped. It said that a lot of people went on U-boats. So there's some
like I was going to say, obviously, like the Nazis were like, they were like almost brainwashed to do some of the things that he was telling them to do. Like I feel like they would have literally done anything for them, meaning sacrifice themselves for his safety. So I feel like, obviously, like you said, in his position of his power, he could have used absolutely anybody to slip him under the radar.
Yeah.
And I feel like even if, so combining the two a little bit, okay, this is something I've just thought of in my head, so it might come out a little different to what I'm thinking. So you were saying, Adolf Hitler might maybe have been one person at like a certain time, but as sort of time progressed, kind of like different people, different characters kind of then took on the role of
maybe like he did
Hitler.
Like he wasn't at the forefront of it. He sort of retired.
Yeah.
And other people took the place.
And maybe perhaps he was in that bunker, maybe with a number of other people, who knows. One of these other guys that were then portraying themselves as Hitler. Then obviously because of Hitler's power, he used them to I guess get them to take their own life to make it look that way, maybe.
Yeah.
To allow him an escape route with perhaps other people in the bunker that all got out together and escaped on the U-boats, like you said. Like,
that's sort of a plausible. What could have happened, but I think maybe he did die in that bunker.
Yeah.
It's another interesting thing. That
it'll forever be a mystery.
Yeah. But a little bit different in a sense, but in a sense it's the same thing again. The Illuminati.
Right.
That's been worked and spoken about. What is going on? Is there some almighty gang that rules the world with Beyonce and Barack Obama? And
I mean, I feel like you might have to fill me in a little bit more on this one. I'm aware of the conspiracy. I've never really been too sure what people mean by, like, they are the Illuminati. Like, because there was that stage where, like everyone was calling everything and everyone, like, the Illuminati. Like, I don't really understand what it is.
So it's like some higher power, higher group, where all these public figures who have got so much influence, I don't even know if they're meat or anything like that, but they have like the power because of their influence. They've got power over the world, so they control governments and I don't know, like anything. They've got the power to name and do, as they please. And I don't know, like, I'm just reading a few facts here. There's facts of the name, where it comes from. It's a Latin word that means the enlightened ones. So,
right.
So from I sort of take that to mean like people who are above.
They're in a higher position.
Yeah, they're in a place of their own, being where they're a lot seen as a lot better than other people.
Yeah. So
it's looking like it's quite an old theory. Like it's been around for quite a while. The Illuminati are thought to have been formed in 1776. by a Bavarian man. Apparently the group started out small, with only like 5 professors from a university, and then the model for it was based on another secret society called the Freemasons. I've heard of the name the Freemasons, but I've never like heard of exactly what it is. Like, obviously they've got that the pyramid with the all-seeing eye as the logo. Could you say is it logo?
Crest,
yeah.
Logo? I don't know.
Something like that. But yeah,
that's their symbol.
Yes,
symbol.
So there's loads of things. So like the JFK assassination.
Yeah.
That's another one.
Yeah.
Like it says here the September 11th attacks. There's so many things that could be directly attributed to the Illuminati that they were responsible for. Like, I don't get why there's so many people think that like celebrities are really like Beyonce and Jay-Z. Maybe because I don't know. That's just.
I couldn't imagine Can you
imagine Beyonce going to like a meeting, like a big round table meeting with Jay-Z, to say which leader's going to be assassinated next?
No, like that. I think that's where it crosses the line.
Yeah.
For me. Like that's not true.
Because I can imagine like there being like a higher government that doesn't get elected, but just is there.
See, my idea of the Illuminati before this was, like you said, kind of like a higher government.
Yeah.
But what my idea of it was people, like unknown people, like just kind of like, I don't want to say like secret agents, but like undercover, like
people who aren't in the public eye.
Yeah, so you talk about people of higher power, but not necessarily because of their influence publicly, more sort of in the shadows.
Right.
So that the whole like Beyonce and Jay-Z and that's certainly news to me, and I can't buy into that. I don't think.
Okay, so this was like a website that said 11 facts about the Illuminati, and it says here the best way to learn the true facts of the Illuminati is to get them directly from the source, and it's got a link. So there's a link. So I'm going to click on it. It's probably going to be like viruses. Lulu. What's Lulu?
I don't know.
It's like a shop for books. It's a bookshop. Self-publishing book print. Okay, so I think that's just like a load of bollocks.
Or there's a book on the Illuminati that it's just trying to get you to buy.
Maybe, I don't know. But yeah, like, it's weird, man. Can you just imagine them being like, all the actors in Hollywood just have that much power that they can decide who gets like, we're going to assassinate this kid today.
I mean, they get away with everything anyway, don't
they? Yeah. But, yeah, it's weird.
But then surely, like, why, if it was all these people of higher power, people are then linking the Illuminati to the JFK assassination, well, why was JFK not part of it?
Well, maybe he was. Maybe he'd done something that got him excommunicated. Yeah. Maybe he was like told to do something because he's the front runner. He's like the image
that he didn't want to do.
And then
he was killed off for it.
I don't know, man. There's so many.
Have you seen that video? Have you seen the video, by the way?
The what video?
Of the assassination. Like, you actually like see it.
I think I might have seen it, yeah.
It's horrible. Don't watch it.
Yeah, I mean, like, it's too. It sounds too crazy to be true that we don't know that for definite. Because I feel like we should, by now we've probably known for definite. I want
Trump to stay true to his word and hurry up and release these JFK files. Did you see him? He was saying that he was gonna like basically unclassify all the classified JFK files.
Really?
Yeah, he said that he was going to do it like this year, but he hasn't done it yet.
Well, the year's only 1 month old, so maybe he's going to release them this year. Who knows? But that would be very interesting.
I do hope he sticks to his word and does it.
Yeah. So we can talk about another one now.
Okay.
We've sort of mentioned it a little bit. Area 51 with the aliens.
Yeah, perfect. Okay.
Yeah. So I don't know a great deal about it other than it's an area in the middle of the desert.
Yeah, it's in the Nevada desert.
Right. Okay. So that's pretty much all I know.
Okay, so it's obviously now been established. I think. Okay, so a little bit about it. It was originally not on Google Earth or Google Maps. It just showed as just the blank desert.
Right.
But obviously people knew it was there. Like people had travelled to the. I don't know if you know about like the camo guys and the gates. Like you can go to the gates.
Right.
And then there's warning like trespassing signs. You can't get you go past that area, you get shot. I've seen like YouTube videos of people going up to the thing.
Right.
And they'll kind of like film around the gate, and then you'll see like a white van pull up like over the hills, and in quite a few like scenarios, the van has drove over. There's like the camo guys, like these guys dressed up in camo, get out and say like you need to leave right now, basically kick him off the property. And another like there was this other video. Like, I'm gonna if I find the video, I'll let you link it in the description for this. It was these people that went to the gates. They were sticking on. They could see the camo guys in the distance, but like they didn't come down. And literally, like this stealth chopper, like a black helicopter, rose up from over the hill, wasn't making any noise, and it was literally like it was just so close to them, but it wasn't making any noise, and all of a sudden it just rose, and like it was looking at them, right. And they they got up and left, and it was like bizarre. But anyway, I feel like I'm tailing off again. So
No.
So what it is a military base in the middle of the desert, and when it first appeared on Google Earth, it was only like a really small base. Since then, it's expanded massively. There's now, I think, an extra like 4 or 5 ginormous like container like warehouse type things, and a load of other like little areas built onto it that you can see on Google Maps or Google Earth. And what people allegedly say, and what people who claim to have previously worked there have said, is basically that they are harvesting aliens.
Harbouring.
Is it harbouring or harvesting? Like keeping, like
harbouring.
Yeah, they are harbouring aliens and sort of doing tests on them and testing, like UFOs, right. and kind of and things like that. And personally, I think part of the story is, don't get me wrong, like I'd love to believe that they actually have aliens and things there.
Yeah.
I think they are obviously in a position where they can create technology and aircrafts far beyond our current time or what we're aware of that can be created. And these UFOs that have claimed to have been spotted in the sky hovering over the base are examples of that exact thing. So it's not necessarily an alien spaceship or whatever that they're testing. It's something that they've been able to build from like human resources.
But if they've been able to build it, have they maybe been able to build it from intel that they've got from?
I mean, possibly, yeah. Like that's another angle to look at it from, which is an angle that like I'm always willing to believe.
Yeah.
With Area 51, just because it's just mental. Like the fact that I think it wasn't until like 2000s that they actually showed it as being a thing on Google.
Well, Google Earth wasn't really a thing until the 2000s, was it?
It was 2000 and like late 2000s, like not that long ago.
Yeah.
When they showed it as it's a thing.
Yeah,
Like, obviously people already knew it, but like it was so hidden, so like secret. And another, like there's workers, I touched on this. So previous workers who claimed to have worked at the base, they some of them, like, I can't remember names. Sorry, like it's been ages since I've seen the documentaries, but they claim to have actually worked on aircrafts and spaceships that aren't from this planet.
What?
And there's like an element, like a new element, basically, obviously that's not discovered yet by anybody bar these people of this higher authority.
Right.
And that element is kind of like the key, and what people are using to create, what they are using to create these airships and spacecrafts that are so far ahead of their time. Now, we already know that they can do that because in the 1900s there was, you have like a blackbird is, don't you?
The spy plane.
Yeah. They had one of them built in the 1900s that is basically of the standard of what, like the usual military or whatever, or army, like it was to the standard of what they are today.
Yeah.
And it was way back before anyone even thought anything like that was possible. And they actually showed that off.
Right.
So I think we already know that they can do things like that. And there's, so people, like aeroplane trackers.
Yeah.
So this is how people that are like really into it and have sat and watched it. There's a mountain that you can climb. It's really dangerous to get up there. It takes about 5 hours to get up there too. But you can actually oversee the base.
Right.
But not like very clearly, like, you know what I mean? Like you can kind of see like the outline of it.
Yeah.
And that's just outside the restricted zone, so you can legally be there. And people say there are unmarked aircrafts that go into like Las Vegas International Airport.
Right.
They pick up people, like, just in black suits or whatever. These people get on the aircraft and they fly like around Vegas and then come over the base and land, and it's every like few hours that this happens. So they are actually like these unmarked planes, and it's true that the plane takes the journey because people follow the plane.
Right.
So the plane goes from Las Vegas International Airport to Area 51 and drops off people every day. Now, like, obviously what they're doing, like, I mean, they're obviously the workers there, but people have no access to them, like, they don't know who they are. So, well, like, it's all a bit...
That's... Obviously, your stuff about this, like, I'm astounded, really, with what I'm hearing, because it's all so...
it's crazy.
So mental, yeah. But, unfortunately, that's all we have time for.
Really?
Yeah, the first Chinwag of the series. Yeah, series. So, I feel we've ended it on a really good one there, because you told me a lot. And obviously, if you've got any information about, these, the ones with the conspiracy theories that we've talked about today, drop it in the comments, talk about it, feel free to get involved and discuss. But yeah, thank you, Adam, for joining me. It's been quite a deep one for the start, for the first one. It's been quite deep.
I think as well as comments, I don't know how often you sort of like check comments, but I'm not on YouTube that often to check.
Yeah.
My notifications are a bit weird on YouTube. So if I don't know what you're doing in terms of linking in like descriptions and that.
Oh yeah, like if you want to get onto the social media, I'll give you Adam's social media. My social media will be down in the description. So
I assume both of our Twitters will be down. I'm a Twitter addict. I'm on there 24/7. Like, I'll happily get involved in any discussions or any topics that anybody wants to speak about.
Yeah, because it's really interesting. Like, this is why we're talking about it, because we find this interesting, and it's just a really good topic that we can sort of openly talk about. We might not know a lot about it with some things, but the things that we can talk about, we find that interesting, and why not talk about it? So, thank you for watching the first.
Sorry,
Sorry?
I was just going to throw in, like, do you actually have you set up an email for the podcast, or do you have like a business?
I've got an email on my channel that is just, anyone can, if you want to, drop back with something there.
I think if you leave that email maybe down there somewhere for people to see, I think as well, if anybody like in the local, so we live in South Yorkshire in the Doncaster area, I think if anybody with any interest in stories or anything like that, and you'd like to get a hold of us and perhaps come on the podcast and basically, we can kind of go on like a True Geordie kind of theme with that.
Yeah. I mean, if you've got something, if you don't have anything interesting, then it's going to be a bit hard to get you on. I don't want everyone on there, but if you've got something interesting to tell, a good story to talk about, come onto the podcast. I'll gladly have you, and we'll have a really good chinwag,
And I think if you've just got any, that was a good one.
Yeah, it was a nice one.
I think if just any random stories, like a 5-minute story, how at the end of True Geordie.
Keep going back to him, he's an inspiration.
I do, because he's a brilliant man. He's a brilliant man and a true inspiration. He gets people to write him emails and they'll tell him his problems, and they kind of do that as like an end segment.
Yeah.
I literally, I just want as much feedback as possible.
Of course, yeah. Obviously, if you didn't enjoy this video, enjoy this podcast, then don't just drop a dislike. Drop the dislike by all means, but let us know in the comments section or on my Twitter what you didn't like about it, what we could maybe do better, and then we take that feedback forward and put it into good use. But now don't
forget it is the first of many.
Yeah, it's the first
one.
It's
going to improve.
It will improve. Yeah, it's our first shot at podcasting, and I think it's gone relatively well. I've enjoyed it. So big thank you to Adam for coming on the podcast, and hopefully you can be a regular.
Are you going to have a closing question for your guest?
Oh,
are you going to do that?
I mean, if we're going to, it's a little bit too True Geordie that.
No, I don't mean like the how do you want to be remembered? I mean do you want to implement your own thing into that?
Very good question.
I'm not saying do it to me if I'm going to be a regular.
No, but we need to get the question nailed down, but I don't really have the question.
Something for the future.
Yeah, I mean, I always think about it, and it's a good, point that you bring up. But for now, I'll say good night, good day, whatever, and please like the video if you do like it. If you don't like it, dislike it, and tell us why.
Subscribe to me.
Subscribe to Adam. I'll leave his channel link in the description below.
Follow me on Twitter.
Follow him on Twitter. I'll leave everything in there for you to
wait.
have a look for yourself. But thank you for watching. If you aren't subscribed yet, then please do click the subscribe button below, and also click the alarm emoji thing for notifications on.
Notifications to school.
Yeah, for when the videos are coming out. But yeah, the first Chinwag is over, and see you later.